Well, as you might know, the House of Representatives passed the CARES Act on Friday. Also, it was signed into law by President Trump the same day. Not much talked about is there's three laws buried deep within this 880-page document that deals with rental property. It's mortgage forbearance and an eviction moratorium. So I want to cover those three separately, but we're going to go through those together. Before we do that, though, I want to disclose that I am not an attorney. This presentation is for educational purposes only. I am not giving legal advice. Please seek the competent legal counsel before making legal and investment decisions. All right, with that, let's jump in. So this is section 4022, and it's labeled Foreclosure Moratorium and Consumer Right to Request Forbearance. Well, what's in there? Well, I have tried to boil this down to as simple as possible, right? It's a big Washington, D.C. legalese, and I've tried to do it both simply, but also just pulling out the parts that are probably going to apply to that are most common either to myself or to our customers. There are a few other small nuances in the law that you'll want to read just to make sure that you've got it all tied down, but I want to make you aware of what the broad outline is. So this particular one applies to single-family homes through fourplexes, and it's only for loans that are secured by an FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, or Freddie Mac loan. And then also it can be used as a rental or as an owner-occupied. Now, the law doesn't say that specifically, but it's kind of implied in the fact that you can do it for a fourplex, which implies that you're renting out at least three of them. Even if it's owner-occupied, you're renting out three. Okay, so what are the benefits? Well, first of all, they're going to give you a forbearance for 180 days. And then you can request a second 180 days, which gives you basically a full year of no loan payments. On top of that, there's no fees, penalties, or interest beyond the amount scheduled or calculated, as if the borrower made all contractual payments on time. Now, there's two different ways to kind of read this, and the first one, I'll explain the first one, which I think it is, and then the second one just as a possibility. So it feels like to me what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically push pause on the mortgage amortization schedule, push it out 180 days and hit the play button again, or 360 days and hit the play button. That would mean that there's no fees and penalties. That's fairly easy, but the interest is interesting. Like, it's hard to believe that they wouldn't charge you interest for that 6 to 12 months that you have the loan and just capitalize it and roll that back into your loan. But that's not really what it seems like. It just seems like they're pushing pause and then play 6 months down the road. So that's the way I think it is. The other way you could read this somehow is that they are going to keep track of the interest for that period of time and then tack it on the end of your loan. But that would be the way I would think it would be, because that's generally how you think of loans. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You're always paying for it somehow. In this case, it does seem like they're just pushing pause, fast forward 180 days and hit play. The third thing is kind of less of a big deal, but no foreclosure or foreclosure evictions until about May 16 of 2020. They say 60 days from enactment. I'm not sure when enactment is. Was that Friday? Or is there another date retroactive that the thing's going to go into play? It probably was Friday, the 27th of March. Okay, so the requirements. What do you have to do in order to get this forbearance? Well, it's really simple. Just submit a request to the loan servicer. This particular law does not even say if it's got to be in writing. There's another law that says it can be just call them, essentially. Call or in writing. This one, I think you could get them on the phone. Just say, hey, I need a forbearance, and they're going to give it to you. The second thing you have to do is that you have to affirm that the borrower, that's you, is experiencing a financial hardship during the COVID-19 emergency. That's it. There's no proof. There's no criteria. You don't have to tell them why, it doesn't seem like. Maybe they'll ask you that, but I'm not sure. But according to the law, there's really no proof or criteria to do that. Just ask, and it's yours. Okay, so what properties are not covered? Well, it doesn't really say, but by implication, it's saying, listen, it's the federally backed loans that are covered. So by implication, that means that they're not talking about the commercial loans that you would get from your local bank or the loan that you took out from your uncle or your dad. Those loans are not covered. You cannot get forbearance, right? That's not what it's saying. It's only the loans that the federal government is backing and has some say in, right? And that piece is actually going to come back in a couple of other laws as well. So in summary, if I had to boil this whole law down into one sentence and try to make it as simple as I could, this is what I would say. Single-family homes up to fourplexes with federally backed loans may ask for up to 360 days of no payments, fees, penalties, or interest. And there you can see the link to the law. I would recommend reading it before you make your own, and then make your own judgments. And then finally, just say thank you. And if you want to stay informed about policies that will affect your rental property, go ahead and email us at support@expressrpm.com and just say I'm in, and then we'll add you to that. And we're trying to send out these videos as fast as this information is coming available, and trying to keep everybody informed and up to date on what's happening out there. Stay safe and stay healthy.